Hello and welcome along to the Turn 1 podcast, the F1 podcast that likes to have a little bit of a laugh as well. This is episode 1. As you've probably clicked on the link, thank you very much for watching. But this is the difference. The first one was always the pilot. It didn't have its own overlay compared to the rest of the Turn 1 podcast. We were just finding our feet of where we were going. But joining me this week is Will, also known as Will's Toy Clearance. That's his Twitch name. And the other Will, which we call Lard, whose Twitch name is Lard Team Maker. So, we are discussing pre-season and we're discussing Australian qualifying and free practice. So we hope you enjoy it. Here it is, episode 1 of the Turn 1 podcast. Everybody, welcome along to Multiplayer Madness, which is what the title is right now until we actually come up with a better title for this specific segment. Welcome along. It's Saturday night. It's a new F1 segment that we're going to be running throughout the entirety of the season, even though we don't have one of the races. But we'll manage that. With myself and with Mr. Will's Toys Clearance. Say hello.
Hello.
And finally, the last person on here tonight, as our special guest, is Mr. Lard Team Maker himself. Will, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm very good, thank you. So,
yeah, good.
So, how the devil is everybody in the chat as well? Is everyone all right? Welcome along. Hello, Jazzy Jenny. She's popped in to say hello on the chat. Enjoy. We're going to be playing some F1. We've got some things to talk about. We've got quite a few things. We're here till 10 o'clock, and then after 10 o'clock, we're going to go and raid someone because it's Saturday night, and we're going to do that as always. So, shall we game?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you. I didn't actually set up what kind of game we've got, what length and everything we're doing. That will help, won't it?
Yeah.
What
Might do.
50% race?
50%'s nice and juicy.
50%.
50%.
And what do we think of a short quali? Or do you want a one-shot quali?
Whichever. I'm easy.
I'll switch to that
Like
game.
a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll do one-shot quali and a race distance. Actually, no, we'll do full quali and a race distance. That means we can take it through to a break and then we can do the race after the break. How does that sound?
Nice.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay, let's game. So hit back. And we're ready up. Okay, so. Hey, Yasser, how you doing? Welcome along to the Formula 1 Multiplayer Madness, but I need a new title for it. Any suggestions by anybody? Even the guys that are talking to me right now?
Nothing yet.
I was thinking 5 lights, but I don't know. That's the only thing that came into my head. Alright.
Keeping it on track.
Oh. You know what? I'm keeping that. Keeping it on tracker. Any further suggestions will be better. Okay, to avoid embarrassments, let's go straight into our first subject of the night. Melbourne quali. Open talk, guys. What do you guys think? How was it?
Exciting.
Exciting. One word summed that
Yeah.
up.
It was close. It was a lot closer than, well, we expected the midfield to be as close as it was, but the surprise for me was that Mercedes have actually come out the blocks and went, yep, okay, we're back to first.
Yeah, I think exactly the same. Mercedes have definitely flown out the traps and gone, this is actually what we've got in the tanks.
Do you, though? Is that what you think?
Well, they weren't really playing many competitive laps, and then when they did come about, it was literally, what was it, 1,000ths of a second? And I honestly thought it was going to be close between them and Ferrari. I thought Ferrari had bucked their ideas up and got it. So to see that much of a gap, yeah, I'm going to stick with what I've said. Yeah.
I'd say Ferrari was sandbagging.
The track is pretty quiet at the moment. Perhaps we should get out there
Why
and
would you
get a few laps in.
sandbag for Q3?
Because pole at Australia isn't necessarily the best place to get it.
All complete. Mechanics
Their
No.
race
clear. We're ready to go.
strategy has been, better than Mercedes, so relying on Mercedes to make a mistake and overconfidence. I'm not saying it's clean cut. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and aced it tomorrow.
Right. So you think it's going to be Ferrari's race, really?
I think so.
Almost
That's
like
a
a
Merc fan saying that.
snapshot of last year.
Yeah.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. Speaking of Ferrari, though, Charles Leclerc. What was he? Where did he qualify again?
He qualified in
fifth.
Yeah, he qualified in fifth because Max Verstappen snuck it into fourth.
Yeah.
Just over a tenth of a second.
So I think this race, qualifying, it caught a lot of teams out, didn't it? Particularly Q1. Q1, there was a lot of teams that probably didn't think that the track was going to embed as well as it did, and caught a lot of teams out.
Yeah, I mean, looking Pierre Gasly. 70.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not a great start to his career.
absolutely not. Oh, Brad didn't do
I
that.
forget which driver said it, but they did say the track was evolving quick. It might have been Bottas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they mentioned that on Sky as well. That it was evolving quickly, especially in Q1.
yeah, it was, wasn't it? As the temperature was going down, the track was evolving very quickly.
Made for a good Q1 now because it did mix up the order you thought, but then into Q2 it stayed, those that did well, and those that didn't.
Yeah, and then it sort of went back to sort of how it was the last year, really, didn't it, for Q3?
Yeah.
Well, we used okay. So let's talk about quali in a little bit more depth. Who were your standouts of quali this morning? Who were your standouts?
I believe some kudos to Bottas, to be fair.
Bottas.
Not
Tell
known
me.
for his qualifying, and pushed Lewis to what? 100, 200 off? Not ridiculously small.
Has this
Yeah,
been?
that was in Q2, wasn't it? Because at the end of it, the end of Q3, he is just a tenth off.
Has this been the winter break he's been needing to just refocus on himself? Because let's face it, he had some ups and downs. He had a race victory taken away from him last year, and he needs this to be his season if Mercedes ever think about just keeping him on next year. Whoops.
I think he had two, didn't he? Because he lost to Baku because there was that debris on the track, which surely the FIA should have seen. It was quite big, and he was leading by a distance.
Yeah. I've screwed up the car there. Evening, Wild Rose, you alright? I've definitely...
But I'm just thinking, without Bottas pushing Hamilton, I don't think Hamilton would have done such a good time.
So just drop their master volume down a little bit more so I can hear you. So everyone can hear you. Sorry about that. See, I think standout for me, one of the standouts is Lando Norris. I think for his first ever qualifying session in Formula One to qualify where he did, I think he's done absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Go on.
I think Zach Brown, when he was talking to David Croft and that, was all about it because they were asking him what did they say to Lando Norris for his first ever qualifying. He went, just go out and enjoy it. With all the pressure you've already got already, we don't need to put any more on him, so we just said go out and enjoy it. And I think he's done that.
Yeah, so do I.
But I mean, looking at it, he's only in a tenth of a second. No, not even that, 100th of a second.
Yeah.
Because Kimi Raikkonen was in there for 1.828 seconds behind Lewis, but Lando Norris was 1.818 behind, so it was really, really close.
It It was, wasn't it? But that McLaren, though, compared to last year, that
It seems night and day, doesn't it?
it does. It really does.
You got to feel sorry for Sykes because
Yeah.
he could have done well. You'd think at least as good as that.
You think it could have had 2 McLarens in Q3?
I think so. They are pretty even, talent-wise.
I think so too. I think, like I say, I think since they've had departure of Tim Goss and everything, the car looks more stable this year.
From testing, it really did. It looks a lot better. It sounds like it handles much, much better as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what wasn't it? Let's see now. Wasn't it Robert Kubica and his shredded back tyre that caused the issue where Carlos Sainz was caught out?
Yeah, because he was on the approach and he had to yellow. It was a yellow flag, so he had to back off.
Yeah.
So he couldn't improve on his lap. So which leads on to, because I'm right at that stage of the Grand Prix of the circuit here, Kubica. Let's talk about Kubica. His first return back in an F1 car in competitive since, what was it, 2010?
2010, yeah.
2010. I'm opening up, guys. What do you think?
I don't know yet. I think it's too early to tell. I know there was discussion in Discord earlier. Didn't you say that Kubica hit the wall in practice in the pit lane?
Yeah, he drove into the pit wall. And I'm like, that's not really doing yourself much justice with your injury. Because people are going to point to that, aren't they?
Yeah.
The situation he's put himself in. And if you can't handle the car at 30, 40 miles an hour in the pit lane, you know, it's not great, is it?
No.
Was that coming in or was that going out? Because there seemed to be a few people that needed to.
Was it going into the?
It was going in.
Into the pit lane.
Oh, dear.
On his own, no cars around him, no wind,
So
no pressure.
He did a Jensen Button then, and I'm using that because I've been listening to Jensen Button's book, and he reminded himself of Hockenheim back in 2000 when he drove into one of the free practices where he was coming into the pit lane and he drove into the pit wall. That was a coincidental timing that I was listening to that book and that part came up. And I've got a lot of respect for JB because, well, let's face it, he's still my favourite F1 driver, even though he's not retired. Even though he's retired.
Mm-hmm. He walked right by me once.
Sorry.
He walked right by me once, did Jason Button, when I was down at Goodwood.
Oh, nice.
I was down there for a friend at the time's birthday, and she wanted something signed by him, and so we were down there waiting. She didn't manage to get it signed, but he basically was within a few inches of my face.
Oh, nice.
He didn't sign it, the bugger.
He didn't sign it. Oh.
Nope, he didn't.
I thought he'd DRS
Was
then.
he on this Sky coverage this morning?
No.
No, he's not at that race this time round. Speaking of which, where's Ted?
I don't know.
I miss Ted's notebook. That's one of the things I really enjoy is the proper fan thing of the notebook.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, and it sounds like he's kind of got a deal with Sky, but kind of got a deal with the Formula One management to produce a show. It's like the debrief between the races.
Yeah. He's got a tech show, isn't he? On Wednesday nights. Is it Wednesday nights?
Yeah, because it's like the midweek sort of thing.
Oh, actually, talking about
Go on.
2 o'clock this afternoon on Pick,
Right.
there was a Sky Sports F1 half thing. I can only describe it as a thing because it wasn't really an interview, it wasn't really a race analysis, it was crap, quite honestly. You had Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris post-qualifying, sat in 2 chairs. They asked them nothing about qualifying, and they touched up Carlos Sainz's dad.
Is that the F1 show?
Yeah, could be. whatever they've decided to call it.
It's the
There's only
F1.
half an hour segment now.
They changed the format last year of the F1 show. They took away all the analysis side of things and made it a little bit more magazine-y.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the F1 show since they changed it. I was part of the live audience one that used to be at Sky Studios. I got it after the whole Lewis Hamilton Monaco one where he says, "I've lost this race, haven't I?" That race.
Yeah.
I realise I've got no fuel left, so I'm going to have to come into the pits. Oh, and I'm up by a second on the Delta. Oh, damn. That's not going to work, is it? Anything going on in the chat, Will? You've got my chat open by any chance?
Yeah, Wild Rose is just drinking toffee vodka over ice. That's currently what's in the chat at the moment.
Anyone in the chat, if you guys got any topics that you want to bring up, it is an open forum. You don't need to be live on the talk. Put a question down. Put any comments down. You are more than welcome to join in the chat. Me, Will, and Lard Teamaker, also known as Will, but we'll call him Lard tonight, are taking care of that. Oh, I nearly drove into the wall. I did do a Kubica. I did a Kubica. There we go.
What I was going to say is, because then we're talking about the Channel 4 bit or pits down the F1 show, shall we talk about the deal between Sky and F1 and Channel 4 now?
Yes, let's do it.
Because here's the thing, right? Here's my devil's advocate part of this. I was reading the article on BBC about this deal going forward and what it means to free-to-air. Now, this deal was done while Bernie Ecclestone was in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So, Liberty Media didn't do any of this. However, here's the thing, right? Before we get into the meat and gravy of the deal itself and what it means to Channel 4 that they have to do.
Yeah.
Who is the biggest sponsor in F1?
I'm going to say I know the answer, so I'm going to hold off.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you know?
Well, I've got two guesses if I can have two.
Go for it.
Go on.
Pirelli
No.
and Petronas.
No.
Sky.
Sky, yeah. 1.62 billion pounds they pumped into it.
Right.
So we're starting to see a little bit.
To be fair, for someone who's... have you watched Sky's coverage since 2012?
No. I've never watched Sky's coverage.
So I'm the pro Sky side of things. I think Sky's coverage, since they've launched, has been far superior than the free-to-air coverage. And I have watched the free-to-air coverage. And to be fair, that the fact that the commentator on Channel 4 has stolen David Croft's "It's Lights Out and Away We Go," a catchphrase he's had since Radio 5 Live, kind of says it. He's trying to emulate it rather than beat it.
Okay.
Because I like Ben Edwards.
And me.
I prefer Crofty.
My question to you is what else are you going to say when the lights go out? Because that's what happens.
Well,
the
Murray
lights go
Walker...
out,
Yeah, but...
and then they go. What else is he going to say?
But
Murray Walker was
go. Yeah. 5 Lights Now was it James? What was his name?
James Hunt.
No. James Allen? No, it's not James Allison. That's
James Allen.
James Allen. He used to go 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, go! And that's how he used to do it. And Crofty, since 5 Live days is gone, it's lights out and away we go. Because I always used to listen to the 5 Live commentary when it was on BBC.
And then there was that other dude that was before Crofty on BBC when he got back to BBC. He was that's 2 years.
Well, Martin Brundle had it for 1 year, didn't he? He had it 2011. He was head commentator.
Yeah, he was with that other bloke though, wasn't he? Oh, who the hell was it? I can't remember the guy's name, but
Yeah.
he was that memorable.
I'll have to back off a bit.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you, John. It's a case of Sky's coverage has, definitely brought something back to the sport from the early days of the BBC.
Yeah.
We're talking before '97 when they lost the contract with 4 sort of thing. How much they was doing there, and to some extent the Jake Humphrey days as well. Because remember the remember the end of the 2009 season when Jensen Button was the world champ? Was
Yes.
it 2009 or 2010?
It was 2009. 2009.
The Masters of the Universe bit.
Yes.
That was such a great video package done to commemorate the fact that he won.
Yeah.
And the whole season bit. That was so good. And Sky do that. Sky are very good at doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the other point I was going to make before we get into the actual Sky deal was, with Channel 4, is who's a board member of Sky?
I want to correct that one in just a second.
Yeah.
It's Chase Carey. Chase Carey at the time,
Mm-hmm.
he resigned in 2018 with the Comcast deal coming on board.
Fair play, but you can see the link that was there as well to try and give Sky the better deal out of this.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, when the deal was done, he wasn't in F1. He wasn't part of F1 in the Liberty Media bit. But people look at this and go, come on, there's something a bit wrong here.
Well, the thing that would have been a bit wrong, I could completely understand that, but Liberty Media have more of a backing behind Virgin.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that the battle with it is a bit wrong, because Virgin Media is Liberty Media. Not Sky. Sky's Comcast now, and Sky was Sky PLC. It was an independent. And it can't use Fox as anything, because Fox, yes, Murdoch's did have a majority stakeholder, but they're no longer the stakeholders of it. It's Comcast who owns Sky.
Yeah, because I remember that when they were trying to go to get more stock in Sky, one of the bits was to sell off Fox News and 20th Century Fox to other things like Disney.
Yeah, and
because that's why the whole bit with the Marvel franchise getting X-Men and Fantastic Four back.
And
so you got that little bit.
Yeah.
So why exactly do you think the Sky coverage is better? What does it do that Channel 4 doesn't? I suppose.
I think the in-depth analysis, Channel 4's tried to emulate Sky. They've seen what Sky do, and they've tried to emulate it.
In what way? Because they only get certain images, which Sky also get, to use. It's not like they've got their own cameras there.
Okay, yeah, but we're talking about the things pre-show and obviously post-race as well. Put me on the spot here.
See, I'd also say that Sky Sports F1 is a specialist channel for people that really like F1.
Yes.
Whereas Channel 4 is trying to appeal to, the more average fan. So they don't want everything in incredible depth, but they want to know a bit, the layman's terms, if you like.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're comparable. But then again, I think the staff at Channel 4 were a lot better.
Like, what would you say, for example? What would you say?
I think Lee Mackenzie does a better interview than the Sky interviewers.
Right.
I think Karoon's better in the pit lane than the ones I've seen. To be fair, I haven't seen that many, but I do like Karoon.
Now that's where the sore spot goes. Karoon over Ted. Ted was Sky.
Karoon was a racer more recently.
Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting, because Ted's never raced, has he?
No, but he's been around the Sky Sport. He's been around Formula One since 1996. And he's been a producer as well. And he's worked his way up. And he knows what he's talking about, does Ted. Meeting him, he's got a lot of knowledge. A hell of a lot of knowledge.
I'm not saying he doesn't know anything. I'm just saying it's nice from a driver's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was in that car. In a comparable car as well.
Well, I understand where you're coming from there with that.
And then for that, I'd also say about the other Sky comment. You've got Coulthard, which is not exactly in a new brand of car, but a more recent car than most of the Sky people, as well as Webber.
What about Nico Rosberg and Jensen Button?
Recently. They've only done that to knock out Channel 4.
Rosberg was there
last year.
But the deal had already gone through, hadn't it, last year for the exclusivity?
Karan Chanduk was
It had gone through, but the new deal came into force this year because it was because this is the deal with Sky. This is where the Will's presentation bit is going to come into its own, because Sky have told Channel 4 that at least don't apply to the British Grand Prix. You can only have in your programs 50% maximum coverage of the race
There's a
on
few
track
cars
action.
out on track. Perhaps we should get out there
Can't
before it gets
go
busy.
do your pit grid walks.
right.
You can't do
Set.
interviews with
They're all
drivers
clear.
in the
Cars
pits
are
on your own. You have to use the Sky one. Same with the thing with press pen.
The pen.
Can't
Yeah.
have your own guys doing that. Got to have one from Sky. The Sky interviews.
Yeah.
And the coverage of each race and qualifying must start at least 3 hours after the race is done.
And doesn't that come out on YouTube before Channel 4 would be able to show it? Because I could just watch the highlights at like 9, 10 o'clock this morning on YouTube,
Potentially,
rather than waiting until 12. Yeah.
It depends whether whether Formula One itself does it, and we can't have the F1 TV here until 2025 because of the deal that was done with Bernie.
Yeah, under the FOM.
Mm-hmm. You see, that's the big person to blame for it. It's Bernie Eccleston with it, because he wanted F1 behind the paid TV wall.
Yeah. But I put this in one of the Discord groups myself. Free-to-air TV isn't exactly the same as what it used to be back like in the 90s and 2000s. It's competed against all the subscription-based providers. Sky, Virgin, Netflix, Amazon. Their revenue, free-to-air, just based themselves on commercial. And let's face it, it's dwindling. BBC have had the license fee frozen for the last few years. Channel 4, yes, nice to be an independent, but let's face it, it's spent an absolute fortune on stuff like the Great British Bake Off to take off of BBC. Mm-hmm. It could have gone in and done it right for it, even more so than what it did. So it's kind of let's face it, the medium of TV is dwindling. It's all going to be online soon. That's why F1 TV everyone will be watching F1 TV by 2025. As the internet gets more stable, faster. I mean, look at York. York are going to be the first city to have ultra fiber optic, and not just be Virgin Media. It's an ultra fiber optic city. There's roadworks going on everywhere to install that fiber optic everywhere.
Wow.
And that's going to be by the end of the year. It's a fiber optic city with 1 gigabit download speed. Upload speed? Love that.
That'd be nice.
That would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Here's where we can sort of make a comparison with game shows on like normal TV, normal mainstream TV, and this. Then in that case, because Julia Hardy has been for absolute years now, trying to get proper gaming shows on things like the BBC, on the ITV channel. Steve's trying to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That as well. And you didn't hear all his meetings and things on his video diaries.
Yeah.
The problem is with the executives that are, higher ups in the BBC, they don't understand it. They don't understand the medium now that people, our age and younger are into what we do. They're still catering for the 65-year-olds. They're still catering for the pensioners watching, you've got your David Dickens and stuff, your Hanky Cash Music. That's what they think the people still want, and they just don't get it. And because of that, it's not changing, it's not morphing, it's not adapting to what the new generation wanted, and that's what's helping drive them away.
It's got a point.
I would say, though, game shows are quite deep, as it were. There are a lot about and a lot on and a lot sent to people to try and push through. I know from, is it like Richard Osman, who's had like Total Wipeout, Pointless itself. There are people already in the BBC doing these shows or putting stuff forward that's close to it. And then when an independent comes along who's less well known, it is going to be hard to push it through. Let's be fair.
I mean, the whole point with like Go 8-Bit was they weren't really interested until they saw that Dara O'Brien was on board with it, and they went, "Oh, there's a name. We'll now look at it."
Yeah, I think Steve's stuff would suit better on the internet anyway because it's interactive.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to make, unless people are going to play on their phones at home. But even then, live broadcasting is very rare on TV now anyway. Because you've always got a 10-second delay or whatever in case something happens, and it's more expensive to do. So I don't know how you'd try and, present that to a TV channel.
Yeah. Wild Rose has just come in just with a random question. Like it. Thank you very much. Has anyone heard of a game called Akinator or Akinator?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Nope.
I can't do the researchy stuff though. Let's take a gander, shall we?
Oh, I've gone for the same corner 3 times.
Okay, right. It is an online game and mobile app by French company Lookit.com. During gameplay, it attempts to determine what fictional or real-life character the player is thinking of by asking a series of questions.
Ready? Let's go.
That's what it is.
Oh, fair news.
So now we have.
Now we have, yeah. Thank you very much for your question, Wild Rose. Right, let's move away from Sky and Channel 4. We've taken quite a lot about that. Let's have a look at the team versus team stuff. So, well, team on team. Let's start with the pole setters, the pace setters, Mercedes. What do you guys, from what you've seen of them over quali? And yes, we have got a race day to go, and we can't really make big predictions because we're less than 12 hours away from the race. How do you fare? I'm in the gravel. That's better. How do you? Ooh, nearly went into Ricardo there. How do you fare? I think they'll fare this season. Sorry about that. Broken question.
That's actually, it's a good question because obviously you want the competition to be there, so it doesn't make it one-sided.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do that. If they're not at the top, they're going to be competing for it. It's Mercedes. They're in that groove now since this hybrid era began, and you've got Hamilton chasing more records. He hit another one today.
Yeah.
He tied with Schumacher and Senna for most poles consecutively at a track.
Yeah.
He's going for he'll tell you he's not going for Schumacher's record, but I call bullcrap on that, and I say
I like that. You call bullcrap.
I honestly do, because if he comes out and says, "Oh, I haven't been thinking about it," it's rubbish. Of course
He's been thinking about it, yeah.
Let's put it this way, right? Will and myself and Jay have been starting to look at pinball again.
Okay.
If I went out and said, okay, when I tried my pinball run earlier, I wasn't out to try and match, or if not beat, Will's high score, then I'd be lying.
Yeah.
Flat out. Everybody does this competitive thing. Of course he's going to be looking for that, because he wants his name as that marquee. He wants his name as the hit in the history books.
Yeah.
And to tell you otherwise is wrong.
I understand that. It's like this. F1. Playing against Mr. Will. I know Mr. Will is a better driver at this, but I've got to hold on to my hope that I will beat him. One race. Yeah. That's all I want, is one race win.
Because then you can build.
Yeah.
You can go, okay, then we go for the second. I mean, we both know how good Will is at this.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's me with mine.
But it doesn't stop us trying. It doesn't stop us wanting to try to improve.
No.
To get we can match him and then pass.
I mean, I love this. The more I play this game, the more I think Yeah. I love playing this game.
It is a nice game, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's Mercedes. What about Ferrari? Vettel and Leclerc.
Well, looking at them at the minute, they'll be at the back of the grid, won't they? Let's be honest. If they keep losing half a second per race, that will be the end of them. Williams will be strolling by. Vettel honestly came out and said the car didn't feel that well today, though, didn't he? Which is interesting.
Is he saying that, or is it race setup? That's what I'm thinking. Is it just ready for race?
I don't know. He seemed quite miffed. He's lost his smile from testing already.
I genuinely think they weren't expecting Mercedes to be as fast as they were. That's
But were Mercedes expecting to be that fast?
That's a shout.
They claimed it weren't.
I just realised I put in a quite good lap and it's not even top 10 shootout. I'm going to back off.
Yeah, I think Leclerc is going to be the surprise package this year. Not Verstappen. Verstappen's going to be good when he gets his head down and stops, which I think we'll touch on this later on. He had a conversation 6 weeks ago in Geneva.
Yep.
I think that conversation and the circumstances that happened afterwards are going to make him knuckle down more than he has in the past few years. So I'm hoping that he's actually going to take that and actually do something positive with it and actually be competitive in the right way rather than just act a dick.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just having a look on the chat. Just 1 second. Just going back to the whole TV thing that we talked about earlier. Wild Rose, good comment. Let's face it, if more people spend more money on games than any other form of entertainment till the likes of BBC and others see, it's heads in the sand for it's heads in the sand for them. Very good point. Very good point. I agree. They think that all this online stuff is just a fad. No, it's not. It really isn't.
What I'd say about Max is losing Ricciardo is probably the worst thing that could have happened.
Ooh.
Unless Gasly pulls his finger out, there is nobody to challenge Max in his own team. He will get his own way, and that will not help his racing ability.
No.
Especially at his age.
Yeah, because Ricciardo pushed him. Okay, he had a lot of reliability, but he knew if he messed up, Ricciardo would take his spot within his own team, because there's nobody now in Toro Rosso I can see getting into that Red Bull. I did joke earlier if he had to be in Gasly's place if he doesn't improve, but I don't see it, quite honestly. Red Bull aren't that stupid, mind you. Third chance, let's see. The torpedo.
Let's have a chat about Red Bull. You got Verstappen up there in the top 10 and Gasly right down in, what was that, P17? Is it P17?
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about that. Red Bull Honda. Now, we had a chat about this when we played F1 a little while ago. How do we realistically see Red Bull Honda this year? In regards to, are they going to have the reliability? Are they going to be a strong contender? Do they really think they're going to push for championship?
No.
I think that
Honda
last kind of said it.
sounds like a bag of nails.
That sounds about right.
They have one experienced driver out of 4. And I don't know. I'm still not convinced its reliability is good. Its drivability is not, as we saw earlier. For Rosso and Max struggling to get around the last few corners in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It has certainly improved though. To get,
It's got faster.
To get them up into 4th, he's got to be able to shift if he's getting them up into 4th.
Depends
Do
if
I
it's
see it as a
posture.
championship winner? Not this year.
No. I think they'd be lucky to win a race, to be fair, if Ferrari and Mercedes have worked on reliability. it doesn't look strong enough to nick the odd.
Yeah.
Because you got to think Ferrari are going to improve.
Ferrari are going to improve. Sorry about the cough. Ferrari are going to improve.
Till
You're absolutely
halfway.
correct.
Till halfway and they'll implode again.
Yeah. Leclerc's only going to get better.
Yeah.
I can't see him losing all his speed overnight. He's a good driver. So, unless Red Bull do something magnificent, they're not going to win a race this year.
Mm.
And that'll just annoy Max more. And he'll get more annoyed. And more annoyed. And then that'll be the end of Max.
That's true. It's true.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. What about final thoughts from you about Red Bull, Mr. Lard?
I think the Honda engine seems to be, from testing and so far, even from qualifying, a better fit for Red Bull than Renault was, because they've actually went out and said to Honda, we will develop the car around you guys, around the engine, which is a first really, because they didn't seem to want to do that with Renault.
No.
So, hopefully Red Bull have learned from that mistake with Renault, and hopefully it won't come down to them bitching again in public about it. I don't expect them to win a championship this year.
Okay.
I would possibly see them win a race or two, purely down to if the Ferraris, Mercedes take each other off.
Right.
It's like one of those sort of here it is, hand it to you type affairs.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure yet. I don't think the Honda is powerful enough yet to challenge outright for it.
Yeah. See, my problem is that Honda had 3 years with McLaren. And yes, it was a torrid relationship. But I always thought that McLaren wanted to build the package as tight as possible around the engine. Yeah. And my argument, like I said to you midway through the mid-season break, was Adrian Newey wants to get a really tight package on that car around the engine. Always has done. He's the master of aerodynamics, and that's the thing that I think will let him down, is the fact that Red Bull want to push it, Adrian Newey want to push more, and it will be. I think that's going to damage it. And you're right. They have no more excuses. They have no more windows to hide behind. Like McLaren last year, saying they had the best chassis because of the engine. They've got no excuses. They've kind of changed their pitch, and I've liked that. We'll talk about McLaren a bit later. But Red Bull now have no more doors to hide behind. Sorry, windows to hide behind. Could have windows to hide behind, but they'd be breaking glass. They've got no more doors to hide behind. So this is an all or nothing for them. And it could, if I'm honest, it could cost Christian Horner his job. Potentially.
Yeah. If it happens again, if the spat happens again.
Well, they've been on the downturn ever since they lost Vettel, so that's interesting as well. Whose idea was that to allow him to be sold to Ferrari so easily?
That's true.
He was in a very good vein of form before he went to Ferrari.
123.852. Nice lap, Will.
So,
Are you on new Ultra Softs?
yeah, I use Super Softs in the Q2.
I use Super Softs in Q2, but I'm on used Ultra Softs because I'm not using my new ones. I've got a 126.7. Oh, jeez, that's bad. That was bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Red Bull because they're really good for the sport, even as a non-Red Bull fan. They are brilliant for the sport.
Yeah.
Publicity, Publicity.
Publicity. Ooh, we got a
That's
new
the
word
one.
there. Publicity, guys. Publicity.
Also, the fact they run 2 teams.
Yeah.
If we lost 2 teams from F1, it's going to start to look really dire.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16
16
cars.
teams. 16 teams, 16 cars, yeah. I don't think it'll ever happen like that. Because I don't think Liberty Media will want them to go, so they'll talk about it. But same time, though, they can't. It's like the Ferrari factor. Ferrari spitting their dummies out halfway through last year with the whole, oh, if you change this regulation, we're going to take our ball.
They did that before, didn't they?
Yeah.
The South American Championship, and then they went, oh, okay. After
Yeah,
Max
well,
Mosley almost went, well, go then.
I forgot when I was watching, but the Ferrari have been talking about their special extra money they get at the end of each season. Maybe other teams have started to finally give up with this.
Yeah, it's almost like a legacy thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it.
I've heard that on the Jensen Button. I'm listening to Jensen Button book, and he was talking about the payments. They have a Ferrari payment, whereas like Mercedes and Williams and some other teams have a legacy payment, which is less than the Ferrari payment.
Well, apparently the Ferrari payment's more than the bottom team in the championship get as a bonus.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what does Ferrari do with the money? Why do they deserve that money?
They don't. They don't deserve it at all. They really
Yeah.
don't.
I mean, last year they didn't talk to the press, which
No.
is half the reason for.
Well, I think Ferrari they're just downright rude. I really do. That's just me being me and saying it.
Channel 4 coverage. They had the Ferrari team principal.
Did they?
They interviewed him alongside the previous one before Arrive Bene. I think he was the previous one. 2014,
Yes.
I think he finished.
Yeah.
Stefanov, I want to say. Something like that.
Stefano Domenicali.
Right.
That's the one. Which is an interesting turn up for Ferrari, because obviously they're doing publicity. I also saw their own YouTube video.
Oh.
Because last year, and as a Mercedes fan, I watched it. Mercedes did a race by race rundown, I guess, strategy, this, that, and the other. They called it Pure Pit Wall.
Right.
Love them or loathe them. It was really interesting as an F1 fan to see how they did their strategy, and they talked about every driver on the grid, not just the Merc drivers.
Right.
And it was really well viewed. So if Ferrari are starting to do a bit of that as well. You know, it's progression.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true.
I just thought that was interesting. They're starting to do a bit more social media.
Maybe they've
more-
been told. Maybe they've been told to buck up their ideas. This is a fan sport. It is an entertainment. As they say, it is a sport and an entertainment. They should be doing more for the fans. The fans pay good money to see them race and want to interact with the drivers. Maybe they should do more.
Absolutely.
Sorry to butt in on that point, but I just thought it was worth mentioning.
That's quite all right. Who was fourth today? Was it Haas? Was it Haas that was the fourth fastest car on the grid?
Yeah. 6th and 7th place?
Yep,
Was
6th,
it?
7th, Grosjean 6th, Magnussen 7th.
Let's talk about Haas. The Ferrari B team, as it's still referred to sometimes. I think there were some comments in qualifying about the fact that that Ferrari were using Haas to find out how the engine was doing, push it to the limits. What do we really think of Haas? I mean, with like I said, another discussion we had before with Alfa Romeo being actually Ferrari owned. Where do we see Haas this year? I mean, they've got the same driver lineup as last year, and to be fair, I like both drivers. I do like Grosjean. I do like K-Mag. Where do we think they're going to be this year? How do you think their luck's going to be?
Well, hopefully they'll finish Australia.
Yeah.
I've never got on with Grosjean, but I will say he's spinning it, putting it into a wall, being crashed in by Ericsson, who was miles behind him. You know, he can put in a fast lap. But what I will say was that car looks incredibly bad to drive. Again today, last few sectors, or last few corners, the drivability of that car looks shocking, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So the drivers are solid-ish.
Yeah.
But the car might not be. The engine is, because Ferrari engine.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting that they've probably got Alpha, who we'll get onto later, engine in there as well. With
Yeah.
the other sort of idea, if you like. So, Haas are usually pretty solid. 5th last year in the championship,
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
behind Renault. So,
And they normally have. Australia seems to be a good track for them. Melbourne seems to be a good track for them.
well,
Well,
seems to
apart
be
from
always
last year
solid.
where they had reliability issues. Was it? Oh, it was unsafe release, wasn't it? Both times, because it was wheel nuts that didn't fasten right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Mr. Wheel?
I think they're gonna be middle pack again. I don't see anything that's really standing out to push them to have a decent standout year. It at times feels like they're just there to make up the numbers at the moment until Haas actually get a clue how Formula One really works.
Can we still call them a new team?
The 4 years, is it 4 years old they are now?
Is it 4 years?
Or was it 3?
3 or 4. It's come round, that has.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't see it, but I really don't. I want to be wrong for all this because I do want to see Avengers, a couple of teams fighting for it. But yeah, I don't see it as Haas.
Sorry. Didn't mean to cough right into the microphone. Sorry, I forgot about the mic. I'm such an... my professional... Oh, jeez, that's right up there now.
I do want to show you something when you're on the break, though. And I'm going to post it into the F1 chat in Discord.
Okay.
You might go, ooh, about that.
Well, we'll come up to a break in just a second, because... I nearly ditched it. That was me with the yellow flags.
Ah.
Now, time from session. Yeah,
Caution.
there we go. I'll say every time from the session, but I'm not going to go to the end because I'm just on an outlet. I'm just on an inlet. There we go. Right. Look at that. Something. There we go. Williams 1-2. Who would have thought that in 2019? Williams 1-2. Not at the back of the grid, at the front. We're going to go for a 5-minute break. I'm going to go and fill up my water. Then it's lights out for race. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Take care. Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. If you are joining us, welcome along. If you haven't joined us from the beginning, welcome along. Welcome to Multiplayer Madness, or as someone called it, keeping it on tracker, which is probably what could be the next name. We've got our special guests in the live with me today. We've got Will's Toy Clearance, even. And we've got Lard Team Maker as well.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. We're talking and playing F1 with Mr. Lard Team Maker just joining in for the chat. But if you are watching and you want to comment on anything we're talking about, drop a message in the chat. We'll happily respond back to that, I'm sure. Lard, can you keep an eye on the chat for me, please?
I will be keeping an eye on the chat and the questions coming to you.
Fantastic. Well, let's click on my Let's Game, have that little animation go through, and let's game. You ready to go for the race?
What, we're racing?
Yeah, well, we can sit here for an hour and... Well, we can sit here for 58 minutes if you want.
I'm ready.
So am I. Right. Press and hold it.
I think like me after this.
Oh,
you'll be heading
no.
to bed quite quickly.
I've got a drive-through penalty.
Already?
Yeah, I hit the wrong button.
Oh
Some-
dear. Jump started it.
I jump started. Yeah.
Oh, and somebody's gone into the back of me. And of course, yellow flag.
That's all right. Well, what I need to do
Yeah.
is just go and do my jump, do my penalty, and then get back into it. Illegal overtake.
Yeah, I
on-
think
Illegal maneuver.
Whoa!
Proceed out of position or will receive a penalty.
Yeah,
this is
of
why I
course
had to
you
get
did.
smart.
No wonder you did. No wonder you got the other penalty there, dude. You got under caution when you overtook.
I forgot to hold down A to activate the clutch. That's what I forgot to do. I'll remember that for next race.
Only mess up and continually like spin round after the start of the race.
That's all right. I can still finish P2.
And what do you do for a job, John?
Yeah, I forgot my clutch. Oh dear.
Mirror signal maneuver.
Doesn't matter what's coming. You've mirrored and signalled. That's all that matters.
I just decided. I was just so excited to get off the line. I thought, go go. Right, Raikkonen, you're mine. Try to do fancy serving in the next 3 laps. Okay, I'm going to do it now. At least then I've got a clear track, haven't I? If I'm honest.
Yeah. With your driving style, John, do you do it more like the old Richard Herring character from Fist of Fun? If you ever used to watch that. So, what's the matter with you? Are you stupid? Are you stupid fool? Can't drive. My nephew can. He's only 16.
I just, oh dear. I just completely cocked up the start there. Right, that's it. Right, penalty served. I'm back on. We're off.
I'm 10 seconds in front of Hamilton.
You're 10 seconds in front of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, I did say I was going to make it easy. I didn't realise how easy I made the II. So I'll have to adjust that
Yeah.
one. There we go.
Yeah, you didn't need to make it easier for Will. Will's going to
That's my mistake. That's my bad. I'll sort that out for the next race. But
It is hard to judge the AI. I've crashed. There you go. I should let you catch up.
you crashed it.
Yeah.
Will, you've crashed?
I'm still ahead by a mile, but I've crashed.
I'm actually quite surprised by that.
Yes.
But I will say during one of our head-to-heads, Will did let me catch up in, was it Hungary?
Yeah.
We had that ding-dong battle near the end.
Well,
It was good on it.
Yeah, that was a good time. He went, right, that's enough. Finish first.
Oh, they just legged it. Well, Nico
Yeah.
Hulkenberg's got the fastest lap at the minute. That actually shows what happened with Will.
Now Brendan Hartley has it.
Oh, yeah, he does. So,
So,
let's talk McLaren. We know about Lando Norris, but let's talk about McLaren.
DRS has been enabled.
I'm biased with McLaren. They're my favourite team. But let's have a look unbiasedly. How do we think? Look at McLaren last year compared to this year. What a difference 12 months can make, eh?
It's night and day, isn't it, really?
is this the car that was built for Alonso?
That's the question, isn't it?
I'd like to see the first tyre test.
Yeah, he's in it, isn't he? First tyre test.
He's doing all the tyre tests for Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, before he heads to Indy in May.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something I wanted to ask you, Mr. Teamaker.
Yeah,
Sort of F1 related because it was on the Sky F1 channel.
yeah.
IndyCar coverage, good.
Oh, the IndyCar
Interesting.
coverage was awful. Because they had a direct feed from NBC, who do, who are the lead providers of the race coverage. But there was adverts all over it, which you can't blame Sky for because that's the American coverage of sports.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of interruptions with it in terms of, actual technical difficulties, kind of like a Tig Whoopi podcast almost. But, it was worse than that. It was a lot worse. I mean, I made jokes about it, but with the Sky coverage, it wasn't Sky's fault, but it didn't help the race.
Leclerc's off, guys. Leclerc is off.
So, are you going to be watching the rest of that series, or is that slightly dampened your? Because you were quite hyped.
It has dampened it a little bit. I mean, there was people going, well, why was there adverts all over it? Is there anything they can do? And Sky went, going forward, there will be no break interruptions during the race for us. So what they're going to be doing is kind of like when they had NASCAR on there. The American coverage goes to break. They will have, showing the feed of it, but there's no commentary while they're taking their break. So hopefully that will show the racing, because the racing almost felt like an F1 race from a couple of years ago when there was hardly anything happening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at the St. Petersburg track, and there was 2 areas where there's overtaking possibilities, but the rest of it was like it's like street circuit.
I mean, had you watched IndyCar before? Because I've never watched it.
Years ago, when Mansell was in.
That's 93-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah, 93, 94. That was. When Mantle did the back-to-back of the F1 title and then the IndyCar title. But, yeah, it wasn't for a long time did I actually sit down and watch a IndyCar race.
So has it changed much, like the F1, in so many years, or is it still very stagnant racing?
It felt very stagnant racing in that bit. I mean, I like the way they do qualifying. The way they do qualifying is, because they have 24 cars, they have 2 groups of 12 go out for 10 minutes. And they go, okay, go out and go out and get runs in those 10 minutes. The top 6 from each of those go into a top 12 shootout. Then it goes for another 10 minutes, and then it's the top 6 go for the pole. Which I quite like.
It's kind of like an evolution of the one that we've got in a minute with top 20, top 15, top 10. All 20 knockoff,
And they don't have the halo.
I was going to say, that's one thing I did notice. They don't have halo, do they? So
No.
You would have thought, considering, isn't that where one of the fatalities came from last year? Was it, well, the year before was from Indy. Was it the British driver?
Yeah, what was his name again? Because it was during an oval race that happened. Talladega happened, I think. And that's one of the reasons they got Halo in F1.
Yeah.
Was because of that, and also Henry Surtees.
Yeah.
In that was it Formula 2, Formula 3? When he got the tyre just impact on the top of his head.
Yes.
I want to say 3.
I was going to say 3, yeah.
So that was the reasons why, but they haven't adopted the Halo yet. Because their cars look different. I mean, they had sort of weird rear wing design last year, which seems to have gone.
How
that
so?
one was sort of covered the back wheels.
Oh.
Don't like the sound of that.
It was weird. It was very weird the way the cars look. They look more like an F1 car again these days.
Right.
So was Alonso in that race?
Not the race that killed off the.
No, the one you watched this season.
No, he is only going to appear in the 500. McLaren are looking at potentially having the team for IndyCar in the next couple of years.
Oh.
There is potentially 2020.
I thought he was going in for the whole thing.
No. Because with IndyCar you can have you can enter single, not even the whole season if you don't want to. It's kind of like NASCAR for that. You can have a team just pop in for one race if they're fast enough and go in.
Right.
However, there is people that were from Formula 1 in there. Max Chilton.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I knew Max
He's
Chilton
in
got
there.
across.
Marcus Ericsson's in there. Takuma Sato.
Sato's still racing.
hmm
Heck.
Sebastian Bourdais, remember him, John?
Yes, that's a name that rings a bell.
He went back to IndyCar after the Formula One crapness that he was, because he didn't go down with Formula One at all, so it wasn't suited to him, so he was there
Pit in this lap.
Right.
again,
Remember
so
the
he's
speed
back.
limit. Be penalised if we exceed it.
Did any
Keep
of
that
them
in
do
mind
it
as you approach.
when XF1 drivers?
I mean, they did mention Formula One a couple of times, but not in a sort of derogatory sense, which
Yeah.
did used to happen.
Yeah, they did. They I suppose because F1 is just, it's not their sport, is it? The Americans. Whoa, I hit the wall. I did a Kubica.
No, however, they are going to the circuit of the Americas for the first time in their racing series on March 24th.
Right. Come on, heck.
Complete. Go now.
So I'd love to see how that works out when it pits. Because with IndyCar, same as like NASCAR, you have like the little sort of concrete wall, and the pit crew jumps over that, does the cars with the pit crew only handles like 2 wheels each rather than just one set handling 1 wheel, so that their pit stops take longer. And then back over it. So I'm wondering how that's going to work, because we know, it's a Formula One track we're going to.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how well we do there.
So, going back to Formula One, we've talked about McLaren pretty much. We've made
I
up.
don't know, sites.
Sorry?
Yeah. Sites, and obviously he's full qualifying.
I think he just got bad luck. I think that's pure bad luck.
Yeah. But do you think he'd have done better than Norris? Or
I think he would have been on par. I think they're both very close, if I'm honest.
so in that case, we seen them as a contender to Renault pass?
I think contender to Renault. I think Renault, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. Are we talking about Renault next?
Let me have a quick look
No,
for you.
or is it Toro Rosso?
It is Alfa Romeo.
It's Alfa Romeo. I think McLaren will be the competitor for Renault.
Okay, gap ahead is
So fighting for fifth?
7 seconds.
Yeah. I think P5. I think that's realistic for McLaren this year. Let's face it, they're not coming with expectations. They've dampened it down. They're not going, we're going to be on podiums and we're going to win races. They're realistic. They're rebuilding, and they are doing a hell of a lot better than setting themselves goals, such high, unachievable goals, because they're more realistic. And as you said, I think it was you who said it, Lard. They said to Lando, "Have fun, enjoy it."
Yeah.
That's a difference from like the Ron Dennis years, where it had to be win, win, win.
I mean, that's
Where
the thing
did-
about Ron Dennis, though. You couldn't say he was one of those that didn't lead by example, because when he had to get on the floor and get his hands dirty, he rolled his sleeves up and actually worked on the car as well.
Yeah.
Where did McLaren finish last year in Melbourne? Because I thought they did rather well last year.
P7.
And then started to peter out. So sort of where they are now.
Yeah. But I think because they had a run of luck as well, there was some. I'm going to be honest, there was some luck with it last year as well. I'm ahead of
Whereas
that.
this looks like it's merit this time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Actually, Lard, can you just do a bit of research as to where McLaren qualified last season in Melbourne?
I can certainly have a look for you.
Thank you, buddy.
Because I mean, they're only going to have dropped one place if Gasly, you presume, was near Max Verstappen. So that's still 9th and 10th if Sainz was there as well.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Not too shabby, really, isn't it? And the car just looks more stable than it did last year. Last year, they just had proper downforce issues.
Which is why Fernando Alonso did so well, really. Everybody having to go to him for only finishing like 12th, but he did ever so well to get it to 12. Yeah, I like McLaren this year. Definitely a team to watch.
Yeah.
It will be funny if they beat the supplier of their engine.
It would, wouldn't it? Because then questions will be asked about Renault.
Yeah.
Right, so 11th overall, it looks like for Alonso. Stoffel Van Dorn was 12th.
So Van Dorn was 12th. Where was Alonso, sorry?
11th.
11th. So look at that.
Yeah.
Any particular shocks in that top 10 above them?
Haas won it.
Past them. And then who was it? I'm guessing Renault.
Don't know on that one because it's sent me straight from McLaren's page showing it rather than actual results.
I'd have said it was
I
Renault.
can't find it though for you.
Wiki
Here we
it,
go,
yeah.
right. So you're saying above McLaren, it was Renault and Haas, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were right.
I think Haas had a good qualifying, and then they
did.
went out because of the wheel nut issues, the unsafe release. They stopped the car at just after turn 2.
Yeah.
So that was
So
two.
it definitely made an improvement.
Definitely.
It's weird, isn't it? Because Australia, like they keep saying, isn't represented for the rest of the year. So I was just wondering, in direct comparison to last year, was there a bit of luck involved then for qualifying, or bad luck?
It was luck on the race, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this year it's definitely merit for, McLaren have gone forward this year
yes.
at the blocks. Haas have remained the same.
Like I say, I think McLaren. I think Sainz was unlucky with Kubica, just the wrong place at the wrong time. It messed up his quali. Oh, there's a gaggle of cars. I am against Bottas, Ricardo, Perez.
And currently, Wild Rose is eating a tub of chocolate mini bites and passes them around.
Oh, nice. Oh,
She is Wild Rose.
thank you,
Very
Wild Rose.
tasty. Meanwhile, in the race, McLaren are second and third.
Second and third.
Yeah.
Oh,
Van Dorn.
some of that twat in the wall.
Yeah. I know, that was bad there. That was really bad. But I should have just waited. This patience. I'm only on lap 12.
So, Renault?
We're
Finished on McLaren?
It's Alfa Romeo now, isn't it? Alfa Romeo.
Yep. Alfa Romeo, because Kimi Raikkonen was 9th, and Antonio Giovinazzi was 14th.
I'm gonna say it. Do you think Kimi Raikkonen's got kind of like a new lease of life being back at Sauber / Alfa Romeo?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be able to enjoy it more because he's going to be the leader. He's not going to be the one who has to curtail himself down to Vettel to move over for Vettel.
You could go out and win it and nobody would go, oh, well, that's the end of the championship because nobody's really following Alpha.
Which I think for Kimi, they might actually pull a surprise this year.
I could see them winning a race before Renault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But me too. I think what they've done with their wing, their front wing design, that's innovative. The split, you know how it just goes along. One of the top ones just go along 2/3 of the length of the wing. There's that gap to the tyre.
Yeah.
That's quite innovative. That I don't think any other teams copied that.
6.6 seconds.
I think because when I was watching the testing, as Karun and Crofty were talking about it, it could be, it's going to take a lot to change the front wing to do support something like that, because it's not just the front wing, it's going to be the whole car. And it seems quite stable, that Alpha. More stable so than the Haas. I still got you guys.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Ooh, that is a bad connection issue. Oh, we've got real bad connection issues there. I'll have a look on my lap 16. Well, if you're listening, Mr. Toy Clearance, can you hear me? I think I've got bad connection. Looks like I'm still racing. Still broadcasting. Anyone in the chat, can you still hear me? Aha! I can hear you now. Will. Mr. Lard.
Hello.
I can hear you now.
Good.
You're back.
The voice connection seems to be a little bit iffy at the moment.
All right, okay. I can hear you now.
Okay.
So, what was the question I was going to say about, I think the last thing I said was about Alpha. The car looks more stable than the Haas. It looks like it's got real good drivability to it.
I mean, they seem to have made themselves a better car since changing to Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure whether that's because now Alfa Romeo are going to pump a lot more resources into making the car better. I mean, hopefully. That is the key.
Yeah.
Can you hear us again, Will?
Hello.
Hello, Will.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
back. I don't know what happened there.
Probably Discord had to throw a bit of a wobbly there.
I was going to say, I haven't had any stability on either the Xbox or stream. All looks good my end. And
Probably Discord then.
Wild Rose says that she can hear me, which is good.
Yeah, you went all roboty for me, and then it cut off.
Yeah.
That's
You both went up roboty for me, so that's why I went, okay, let's have a look.
Thank you, man.
I didn't want to slow down.
No,
So-
I didn't want to slow down. I was going to wait till the pit stop to have a look at Discord.
It's all good, it's fine now.
I've gone into the wall whilst itching my nose. That's always a good thing. Can you
Oh, you're on the wheel, aren't you?
No. The wheel's gone into the loft. I have no space to store it. I'm back on joypad. But I've got...
Oh, have you not mastered the hold in your nose with your thumb?
No.
It's a patented
thoughts.
F1 tactic.
I know. I still can't do it. I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way.
How do drivers not get itchy noses?
That's
a question.
That is a question.
But
If you've got an itchy nose and you've got your helmet down, what on earth do you do?
What if you sneeze?
Pit window open.
You go into the pits and someone has like a little sort of, almost like a broom handle to scratch your nose.
Could you imagine? Right.
Well, that's the question of the week so far.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so what do they do? But Alfa Romeo, I think they're going to be one of the surprises of this year. I do think that,
Our gap behind is
you know, since the Sauber days,
seconds.
they've been sort of, they were sort of trailing, sort of in the middle, not really doing much, just making up numbers. But I think since their name change, they're going to get better.
Yeah.
They were pretty good last year, to be fair. It was a good result all round, not just on Leclerc's side either. Ericsson was bringing home top 10 finishes,
Yeah.
at least 2, which is unheard of for Ericsson.
No, that is true. I mean, that's why he stayed on his test drive. They kept him on his test drive, shall I say.
Yeah, because last year they qualified 17th and 18th for Marcus Ericsson and Charles Leclerc, and they finished Da, 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 da. They finished in. One was out, Marcus Ericsson, and Leclerc's 13th. So we'll see. We'll see how well they do.
Right. I'm in the pits. Change over. Time to go softs.
But yeah, they're definitely a team to watch this year. Giovinazzi, you got to give him his credit. That was his first real qualifying,
Yeah.
arguably. And 14th's not bad.
No, 14th ain't bad at all, really, is it?
Because that would even be a great start of somewhere.
But then Norris, who ran over him before, 8th. You know, the rookies are, the order either way.
It's going to be interesting to see how well they perform this year, the rookies.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be down to McLaren. I think was it Crafty that pointed out to McLaren earlier when they were talking to Zach.
Am I being blue flagged, by the way? Are you right behind me? Will.
I'm falling with team. I'll let you all watch. Really far behind.
Yeah, you'll be in defense.
Whoa!
Oh dear.
I know, I was too busy looking at what was going on, and then Gasly came up and I couldn't stop.
So, yeah, what was this? Yeah, you see, there was an interesting point brought up that, from McLaren.
Right.
And that was the last time McLaren had a rookie driver start for them. Who was it?
Lewis Hamilton, wasn't it?
Yeah, and look where he went to do.
Yeah.
So, if Norris can even emulate that, even to a smaller degree, he's in for great things in the future. But obviously, the McLaren then to now is, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
So,
have a chance.
Yeah.
So what about let's move on to Renault, who, let's face it, I think have had one of the more disappointing qualifyings today. 11th and 12th, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes.
Hulkenberg and Ricardo. There was such optimism about them being the fourth team, the best of the rest. Is it a case of where has it all gone wrong, or are we judging it too early? What do you guys think?
I think he's judging too early.
Australia factor as well. It's not the easiest track. But according to Ricardo, he did an interview and he reckoned the time was there for the top 10.
Right.
Because it is a tiny margin between Ricardo, Hulkenberg and 10th place.
It wasn't. It was slim, wasn't it? It was like a couple of tenths, or.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking because it shows out in Q2, so it shows that between 15th and 11th, you're looking.
Even so.
Just over 2 tenths per second.
Evening, Saul. How are you doing? Welcome along.
I believe it was 8,000 between Hulkenberg and Ricardo.
Yeah.
Checo's gone off turn 3, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, 8,000 for a second. You were absolutely spot on, Will.
Wow.
I've been researching,
You have been
Hey.
researching. I managed to scan through a bit of qualifying this morning before I went on. I've had a full day's worth of work, so I've just scanned through, watched a bit of it, and just got some research. Do you think?
Qualifying 4 or 5 times.
Do you think that Danny Ricks made the right move to Renault, though?
I think it's too early to say. And look what happened. Look what happened when Button went, and then Braun happened, and they think he's crazy. It's not going to work. Well, champion. Same with Hamilton when he moved from McLaren to Mercedes. He's done a very similar thing. Became world champion.
Nice work, that
The only person that seems to have gone to a different team, people have gone, is he sure you made the right decision? That hasn't fully paid off yet is Vettel. So we'll have to see. I think it's too early yet to say. I think if we talk about it again around the British Grand Prix,
Yeah.
then we can have a better understanding of it, because we're almost at hindsight at that point.
Yeah. That's very true. Hindsight is a virtue.
I don't think it's the worst move.
Sorry?
It's definitely not the worst. It's not the worst move they made, and he needed out of Red Bull.
I think he did. I think he was being throttled by Red Bull because Verstappen's their golden boy.
All those DNFs, though, all on his side of the garage. Suspicious. Conspiracy theory? Maybe.
But the thing is, though, look back to 2017 when Max Verstappen got all those DNFs.
Most of them were his own fault. He crashed.
Yeah, he was in the Pastor Mountain harder of the season.
Ricardo did everything right. It was always an electrical failure or a mechanical failure or something.
Yeah.
He announced he was going to Renault.
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you very much, Saul. I'm good, thank you. I got my first warning for exceeding track limits because I was too busy reading the chat.
That's okay, I'm keeping an eye on it for you.
Thank you very much. I'm not ignoring the chat, I'm just concentrating on the track. It's tracker's track, that's what I'm doing.
It's tracker's track.
That sounds like a really bad radio segment, doesn't it?
It was actually the theme tune to a Sean Hughes sitcom back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Ooh.
On Channel 4.
Come on, down inside. Oh, I thought I got him. Oh, come on, keep hold. I've got him.
Surely.
There's only wheel to wheel.
Surely that was a bit too tight to go around that corner.
Oh, I'm trying it though. I know who's coming up behind me. That's Will right behind me, isn't it? Are you right behind me, Will?
Possibly.
But let me know so I can just avoid you. Flipping heck.
There's somebody right behind you first. Is Ocon behind you?
Yeah.
Ocon's behind me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm behind Ocon still. You're alright for a minute.
I've
I'll
not been,
take you on the main straight.
I've not been blue flagged yet. I've got Gasly in front of me. Gasly's who I bumped into last time round. Coincidentally. Stuff it. Fast cars approaching. Right.
Here you go.
I'm going to go past Gasly. I know, but I'm racing the car in front, Jeff. Shut up.
Oh, cheeky Jeff.
I know. Right. Will, take me into turn 3.
It's alright.
Beg your pardon.
There we
Michael
go.
was in the
Right.
chat.
All right, I'm across. Go. There we go.
Here.
Michael was also saying, let me guess, Mr. Will Strickland is winning yet again.
That's about right. Whoa, my joypad stuck. Stuck left and went straight. I ditched it into the wall.
Is that what you call after you've been taken into corner front?
And I've come across him. Yep, that's the one.
Oh, that's got to be clipped, surely.
But John, if you would like a joystick enhancer underpage, there are many things to help the less able gentleman.
Oh dear, I've got 7 laps to get into the top 10. I'm P14 at the minute because that drive-through penalty I had at the very beginning.
Sorrow's on the case to clip it.
Oh jeez, thanks, Saul. She is the master clipper.
Well, as long as I don't make any golf puns, I'll be alright.
Oh,
Debating.
the immortal McLeod saying smut.
You've probably got the two smuttiest people on Twitch here.
Yeah.
Talking about smuts, let's talk about Toro Rosso, shall we?
Oh, the Torpedo Man, yes.
Kvyat's Kvyat's return. Let's talk about that. Let's see. How do you think Toro Rosso have done today? Obviously, it's not where they want to be, but
I like the fact that
Again, I don't know.
Albon, yeah.
Hey, you look, what, 3/10 of a second, and Kvyat's in top 10. You know, same as Alex Albon.
He actually got in front of Kvyat though.
Yeah.
The rookie beat the Ferrari test driver, super good person that Renault and Red Bull have had to bring back, you know?
yeah.
They're scraping the bottom of that barrel, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's like the Red Bull program isn't working.
No, it's not really,
Nope.
is it?
You look in my Discord on F1, you shall find my prediction that Kvyat will torpedo Vettel into the...
Oh, I've lost it. I've lost it.
I've already called...
Oh, you smacked into Verstappen.
Oh, that's dropped me down
Uh,
P16.
Well, it is, you know, it is 3:16 day.
Yeah. I'm blaming Max for that.
Okay, gap ahead is 3.4.
Yeah, he didn't get out of the way for that gaggle of cars that were ahead of him.
No. I'm still blaming Max for that.
Fuel target is +1. Faster engine modes are
Uh,
available.
Toro Rosso, I don't know. At the moment, they're just there, just making up the numbers. You know, hopefully they'll be part of this midfield pack that will just be fighting really close together. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But isn't it true that the back of the car is the Red Bull? It is basically a Red Bull with a different front wing.
That wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Yeah, I think Toro Rosso brought the rear whole assembly from Red Bull, from cockpit to exhaust.
Is that
That is all
because
Red Bull.
they've lost James Key? Do you think James Key was a pardon the pun, key to Toro Rosso?
No, I just think that they're lazy and they couldn't work out what.
Crash Prince a portal, and it is clipped and in Discord. Says someone.
What was that? Verstappen.
Yeah, Crash Staffen.
Yeah. I'm blaming him for it.
I had a misfire. Oh, it wasn't
Okay.
my fault.
So-
The wind was again.
So this will be my post-race interview. It'll be like, I'm blaming Max Verstappen for that, but I'm really looking forward to the next race. If you end it on a high, it sounds better.
That's until he comes and punches your lights out in the weighing scale room.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
again, you braked way too late for Gasly there and ran into him.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a bit... I just need to wait and just be patient. Patience? Patient, even. Oh, lordy.
Many new words have been discovered today. Many.
I know. Well, Will,
Have a whole
it was
dictionary
ever
by the end of the season.
it was ever since you took me at turn 3.
Oh, the romance, the
Oh.
invite, the foreplay, the little tap.
There was no foreplay. You just used and abused me. If anyone's joining, they're wondering what the fuck are we talking about.
Oh!
I know I swore.
I was so pleased I just missed turn 1. Well, I've just overtook the whole field, so I'm okay.
Wild Rose, I say, boys.
Right, Gasly, I've got you now.
Nice and tidy on our end.
Oh, I thought we were going to discuss them.
Yeah, I was
Who's-
going to say, hang on.
We've done Gasly. He was Gasly.
Yep.
Yes, he was. So we've only got Racing Point and Williams left.
Right, we'll leave the certain last team till last. Let's talk about Racing Point. Now, they
Yes.
bought a huge upgrade package with them today, didn't they? Well, this weekend, sorry, and what do we think? I mean, we got Stroll in there and Perez, and I like Perez. I like Checo, and I think Stroll's. Yeah. I don't like the fact that Stroll's there just because his daddy owns the team. That's all that comes into my head.
Well, he's crap, isn't he?
Yeah. I didn't want to put it as bluntly as that. All I was doing was trying to hold off, but you know.
He's a pathetic waste of a seat. Ocon should.
Yes, Ocon should. Gravel.
A solid driver. Perez is a great driver, really.
Yeah.
He's like a Hulkenberg. Never had that chance in the top seat that he probably deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamira is in.
Hey, John.
He says Perez in the top 10, which is it's that was the flip side of Stroll. You got Perez doing another solid performance.
Yep. When you say they brought an upgrade package, they actually brought their car. So they said they weren't ready in winter testing. They said, with everything that was going on last year, ready. Which is fully understandable, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a hell of a lot of turmoil last year with the other things going on.
But yet Williams, that had the whole year to get there, they were crap.
Williams
Still didn't get there on time.
Williams, that is one of the biggest cock-ups in F1 history. Surely.
They might as well have put the steering wheel on backwards.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, Michael has in the chat asked the question, so how do you think Kubica will get on his first full race back in F1? He's in a poor car. Hopefully he can at least get laps under his belt on his return.
DNF lap 10. There you go. He crashes into a wall.
I think he'll retire. I'm going with about lap 30, if I'm honest.
I thought you meant...
If, and it is a big if, they finish, probably laps, about 2 laps, I think. They really need to seriously do some work on that car to actually get it, up to where it is. It's this year's time from the past, It's this year's, what was that Spanish team?
HRT.
Yeah.
The Spaniard racing team.
Yeah, or modal racing therapy. They're them this year, it seems, and it's sad to see because, John, we were at the age when we remember Williams' golden age.
Yeah, I do. It was with
Patrese and Mansell.
Patrese, Mansell, Prost won.
Hill.
Prost won it. Yeah. Villeneuve's got it.
Yeah.
And then they've just lost it.
They really have, and it's sad to see such a fall.
Yeah, it is. For any consolation, I caught up with Max.
I mean, that's all the teams.
That is all teams, and we're just about to finish the race in a lowly 13th, P13. I'm sorry, my Williams teammate. I have done crap, considering I started in P2. I just should have held onto the clutch. If I'd held onto the clutch, that would have been much higher.
You mean your Williams performance?
I think it's a brilliant Williams performance. I think it's better than where it is normally.
But John said in the chat that Williams today said they identified the problem with the car, but it'll take months to fix.
They might as well start working on the 2019 car.
I said this in Discord, then they might be ready for winter testing next year.
I mean,
because we all know that by the time they get this fixed, the other teams are going to be ahead already.
Yeah. I mean, how can I'm going to call it a big independent F1 team. Williams are big. They're huge. They've got championship winners. They're championship winners. They're constructors winners. How can such a big team like that fundamentally mess up with the basics of getting a car ready for the first day of winter testing by such a big gap? 2 days. That's a quarter of the testing gone. How can they mess up like that?
I can't remember where I was watching, but there was one person who said Claire Williams shouldn't be managing that team.
Ooh.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yes, partly sexism, partly because basically she's not hard enough on the drivers or the team to push them.
Right.
I don't know. But I can see where they're coming from. Maybe she's not the most intimidating person to push. But it depends what sort of team you want to run.
Yeah, that's it. Now we can talk nice and freely. We're
just saying, like, Frank Williams was a lot more involved.
Yeah. We're staying in this view for now on because that's the end of the racing. But you are free to join anyone who's in the chat. Keep coming up with the questions. You got me, Will, and Lard all the way through till 10 o'clock. So we've got 12 minutes to go. Keep going if you want to join in. Right. John's gone. The problems have seemed to be put squarely on Paddy Lowe's shoulders. Is he a scapegoat, or is that a fair comment?
I don't know. I don't know whether that's a fair comment or not, because you don't know how far they were into the development of this year's car by the time he showed up. Because wasn't it halfway through the season he went from Mercedes to Williams last year?
It was halfway through the season.
Was it earlier?
It could have been earlier, couldn't it?
I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, Yeah.
He's on gardening leave. Yeah, he is on gardening leave at this precise moment. Let's have a look.
Because nobody wants to go to Williams.
Just looking at Paddy Lowe now. 2017. So in January 2017, Mercedes announced Lowe had left the team and then entered a period of gardening leave. He joined as chief technical director on 16th of March. 2 years to the day, he joined Williams.
Yeah. So he must, some of the blame must go on his shoulders, unless they're going to be doing it like how Mercedes is saying it. It's like, we lose as a team, we win as a team. There's no blame culture in our team. We find a problem, we say the problem, we fix the problem without pointing the finger and going, well, it's your fault, and making them feel bad. Which I like that idea. I love that culture idea.
Yeah. It's a good idea. But you're right on the money there. But I mean, let's think about it. I mean, we talked about the drivers, and I've got Kubica down here. I wrote Kubica down here. I mean, we talked about it before we went on air. You guys weren't aware of what we talked about, obviously, because we weren't on air. But about he made contact with the wall in free practice, and then he messed up in qualifying. Can you see him making it to the end of the season?
I can. I can see it.
There's nobody else to take that seat.
Okay. So
can you see Massa dropping out of Formula E for this?
No, I can't see Massa dropping out of Formula E. But is there anyone else? Anyone from like Mercedes drivers that they might think they might put them across just to get some experience in F1?
Ocon's there, but I think he's happy in the simulator.
What do you think, Lard?
I do think Kubica will last the season. We've got to put it down to also the fact that has been in the simulator, yes,
Yes.
but this is now real. You know, it's not simulators. So the bumps are gonna go jar right through him. It's he's got to relearn really how to drive around his deficiencies,
Hmm.
which he has the potential to do. You know, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, well, yeah, but he's been in the car before. Yeah, but it was almost 10 years ago when he was in a car.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's got to readjust to the G forces. He's got to readjust to everything. And I just think it was just a pure mistake. Just a pure mistake. So
Okay.
I think he'll get better because he had the tower before.
Okay. Yep. Okay. That sounds fair. That sounds fair. Looking ahead, let's have a look at tomorrow's race. Like we say, I'm gonna get the grid up. I'm gonna get the grid up now as well because now I'm not technically streaming a game. I can actually get Sky Sports. Yeah, I'm going skysports.com. That one there, F1. I'm getting the grid up so I can see.
Well, because of the fantasy GP that Will and myself are part of, and I'm sure you're part of as well.
I am very much part of that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. We had to do predictions as well for the race from that site. Do you want to see your predictions? Top three?
I don't think I did the predictions.
Didn't you?
No, I think I missed out. Was it on the Fantasy GP?
Yeah.
I think I missed out. I saw the things coming up, but I thought it was talking about the blooming choosing the teams. I missed the bloody predictions. Hang on, let me check. What time will you be watching it tomorrow? I'm watching it tomorrow evening. That's clear. I need my sleep. My only day off. I'm not getting up early for it. I'm recording it. When the girls go to bed, me and Donna, we're going to watch it. That's
I will be going to bed about 11 after watching a little bit of some other stuff afterwards, which I will promote in a few seconds when it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I will be getting up at 4 to watch it live because I'm stupid like that. More committed, one or two.
I haven't done any
2
predictions.
o'clock.
Oh, hang on. I can still do predictions.
Can you?
Oh, no, it's locked. No.
Yeah, it's locked in progress.
I've got 00000. Damn.
So that's who your predictions are. Nice.
Right. Now I know where they are. I've got questions.
Nobody finishes.
Could you imagine if nobody finishes? That'd be awesome.
Because I went
Oh,
top 3. I went Verstappen 3rd,
mm-hmm.
Hamilton 2nd, and Vettel 1st. Now I got the pole position correct already
Right.
because I chose Hamilton.
Yeah.
My fastest lap for the race will be Vettel, and there'll be 1 safety car. That's mine.
Ooh, that's one subject I haven't talked about. We've got 5 minutes before we go and raid. Will, go with your predictions.
Mine?
Yeah.
Go through the things again. I'll tell you as I go through because I haven't got it in front of me.
First, second. Oh, right. Okay. What you mean? First, second, third.
I can remember, but I can't remember what the other things are. So first, second, third were Hamilton, Bottas, and Vettel.
Right.
So on qualifying, I've gone okay.
Yeah.
Pole position was
Pole position was Hamilton.
Fastest.
Yeah, fastest lap.
I think I went for Max Verstappen.
Okay.
And the amount of safety cars.
2.
I would have gone 1. I would have gone 1 safety car. Okay, I'm going to just have to guess here. Yes, definitely RIP Charlie Whiting. Definitely. What was I'm going to go with... What am I going to go with? It's a hard one to call, really, because of the way it is. I'd say Hamilton first, Vettel second. Third, I'm going to go for Verstappen third. Pole was going to be that. Fastest lap, I think, probably Vettel. And 1 safety car. Yes, definitely. Rest in peace to Charlie Whiting. That was a shock to the beginning of the
Yeah.
season. That was a real shock there.
That one was like sort of waking up in the morning and going, wait, what? Huh? But it was more sort of me. I think it was me going to bed because I was going to bed late, and that's when I saw the news hit from McLaren.
Yeah.
And then I saw the reason why, and it's like, oh, because that struck a bit more home to me because of my cousin last year.
Right.
Exact same thing.
Right.
And it was like, oh. So yeah, it's a shock. I know people have been saying, well, why is Sky going on about it a lot over the weekend? And here's the thing, okay? He wasn't to them just one of the people in charge. To them, he was a friend.
Yeah.
And when you lose a friend like that, you're gonna mention him, you're gonna talk about it because it's he played such a huge part in the business, and not just F1.
Yeah. It's a bit like when Sid Watkins passed away a couple of years ago. Same situation.
Absolutely.
Bringing it back up just a little bit. I know it sounds really terrible the way that I'm going to say it. Fastest lap. Last thing to go before we do. The point for fastest lap.
Yeah.
I can understand it. But do you think it's a bit unfair that it's just restricted to top 10? It would give the other team something to fight for.
Yeah, I do. I do think it's a little bit. It's a bit horrible just to not give them, because that could mean millions of pounds worth in points for the smaller teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I don't really agree with it. I'd rather give the point to pole position because you actually have, something. But then again, it'd only go to the top teams, so I can see why. But that could have made all the difference when the championship was a lot closer last year if it'd been on pole positions, because between Vettel and it was pretty close.
it was.
So, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, but like I say, I think it shouldn't just be restricted to the top 10. I think it should have been opened up for the whole field. So at least it gives all teams a fighting chance for that extra point, because a lot of money, a lot of points, the credentials of where you're going to be in the championship are at stake. So it gives them something else to fight for rather than just teammate versus teammate or team versus team,
But then there's the argument you might as well give points to every position that finishes. It's just there as a carrot, isn't it, then? Because everybody gets a point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it's hard.
You say it's almost like a participation award.
Yeah.
Welcome along.
School race day.
Yeah. Welcome along. Shake your hand. Here's an award. Well done. Put it in your trophy cabinet. So, and that's it. What do you think? Not bad for our first effort, I don't think. Bit all over the place at times, but you can like and subscribe to this channel, leave any comments to the videos on this video. If you do want to watch us live, we broadcast after qualifying 8 till 10 on twitch.tv/tracker57. If you want to follow us for any news, we are on Twitter at Turn1Podcast, Facebook at Turn1Podcast. You can email us podcastturn1@gmail.com, and you can always check out our latest podcast on iTunes. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. See you later.